Alright, Missed by PJ Harvey by special request. Gonna play you the intro figure a couple of times through at normal speed, and then I'll break it down piece by piece, slower fashion. Okay, first chord there is an inverted power chord, essentially. Ring finger on the 5th fret of the E string, an index finger on the 3rd fret of the A string. Then you're using an open G string as well. You're not worrying about the D string at all, except to not play it. You worry about it in that regard, I guess. Worry about avoiding it. Picking pattern goes like this: E string, A string, G string, A string again, G string again, and A string again. And that's it. That's the last note you play on that chord. So again, trickiest part there is skipping over that D string. You're not using that at all, but with a little practice, you know you can get that under your fingers. It's not too hard. The next chord is a simple shift down for the ring finger. It goes onto the 5th fret of the A string. Then you're going to use your pinky finger on the 5th fret of the D string, and you're using an open G string as well. Now on this chord, you're just playing each string once, going from top to bottom. That's it. So you're just going to use the A string, the D string, the G string before moving on to the 3rd chord. So that's it for that chord. Okay? The 3rd chord, you're almost already set up on it anyways with your index finger in the right position. You're just putting it on the 3rd fret of the E string, and you're using an open D string and an open G string as well. And same deal as the previous chord, you're playing each string once from top to bottom, and that's it. Then you're done with that chord. So, okay. So that's it. That's the complete arpeggiated section of the intro. Just to recap that. Okay. From that point, you move down to an F bar chord. And it's really only a partial F bar chord. You're just using the top 4 strings. You're not worrying about the B string or the high E string. Okay, so really, to fret that, just worry about fretting the 1st fret of the E string with your index finger, 3rd fret of the A string with your ring finger, 3rd fret of the D string with your pinky finger, and then the 2nd fret of the G string with your middle finger. You're playing downstrokes, and you're also alternating in an open E string. Now, it's important to remember to leave the rest of the chord intact and held down, because you're actually going to be playing that too along with the low E string, like so. Or more like this. Okay? So, all together. And repeat that 3 times. You go into the verse after that. Verse just uses simple power chords, all rooted on the 6th string. Use a little bit of palm muting, meaning that you're going to put the meat of your picking hand at the point where the strings connect to the bridge of the guitar. You just kind of lie it across somewhat lightly, just a tiny bit of pressure. All you're doing is muffling notes with that. You don't want to push it down so hard that, well, on acoustic you really can't completely kill it, but if you were playing an electric, you could probably over palm mute. so to speak. Anyways, power chords. A power chord at the 5th position, using the index finger on the 5th fret of the E string, and using either your ring or your pinky finger, whichever is more comfortable for you, on the 7th fret of the A string. Going down to the F chord, back up to A, F again, and this is C up here, C at the 8th fret, so fret the 8th fret of the E string, and fret the 10th fret of the A string. So it's the same chord shape, you're just moving it around up and down the neck. You'll notice that I'm doing these little clicks in between the chords. That's just deadening the strings with your fretting hand, and hitting them with the pick. Helps you sort of keep time. It helps keep the rhythm guitar nice and even. That's it for the verse. Then you have the intro again, then you have another verse, and then you have the big explosive chorus, which is essentially just a restatement of the intro figure. It's just, you're not arpeggiating anything, you're just using full chords. You can use either bar chords or open chords if you want. Doesn't really matter. It really depends on how much distortion you're playing with. If you're using a lot of distortion, I would say to go with power chords. It sounds a little bit neater. It's more powerful. No pun intended. When you have too much distortion with open chords, it tends to sound a little bit messy, and it's not as effective. It just doesn't have as much punch. But if you're playing with light distortion, then you might want to go with the open chords. I think that PJ Harvey actually did use open chords on the album version of the song. There's a little bit more jangle in there, and I don't think she used a hell of a lot of distortion on it, even though it sounds loud as hell when the band crashes in. She doesn't use enough for it to get like all messy and muddy and shitty sounding. So either way. It's just an A minor chord, so if you want to use open chords, it's a standard A minor chord up here to G, A minor to G to F, and then you're doing that open E thing as well. With power chords it sounds like this. So it's up to you, however you want to do it. And again, I suggest just tailor it to how much distortion you'd like to use. Figure out how heavy you want to get on the gain, and then just choose which style of chord you want to use for the chorus according to that. Only other thing is the bridge of the song, which is just a minor to the F with open E thing. Okay, and the outro is slightly different too. You're doing everything the same as you normally do on a chorus, except when you come to those last Fs, you're not throwing in the open E's in between. You're just doing this staccato. And that's it. That's the whole song. So, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful, and leave any comments or questions in the comments field, please. Thanks for watching.